It'd be a week window, and then they'd be gone. They'll be out on the bar or off the ledge or down in towards closer to Wilson, New York. So, you know, in that trough, we find that they're sticking around a little bit longer now. Yeah. I'm not sure why.
Last 2 years, we've almost got a month of fishing in there.
Inside there, yeah.
Which is,
yeah. It's difficult fishing, guys. When you're fishing in that current, you definitely got to have a probe in order to know your speed. Once you get up to the point where it's almost in line with the green can, where the guys are lake trout fishing and jigging off the bottom. When you get up to that point, your down speed is at trolling speed and you're standing still. Your GPS is not moving. So then you're going to turn and then go down current again. So, you know, like this is the kind of things where you got to know what the down speed where you're at, or else, you know, you'd be completely lost in the trough. Another thing about I think this year as well. So if you have Facebook, there's a page that I do want to recommend for weather. It's called Niagara Weather. Simple. It's a friend of mine that I worked with at the city of Hamilton. His brother was a meteorologist. He's retired now. Worked for Environment Canada for many years. And now he just does it for fun. And you'll notice that when he posts. He had an excellent post today about his synopsis of what he feels is going to be for the rest of the month of March and the beginning of April. And he's suggesting that we may find a cold snap coming. So in that, you know, there might be this illusion that we're coming into spring early. There might not be that. Okay, so let's just be patient and wait this out, see what happens in the next 4 or 5 weeks. But hopefully, you know, once that clears and we get back to spring lake conditions, I think it's go time. Predictions as far as the first few kings to be caught. I'm still going to say the first week of April we'll hear of a king or two being caught. And it, you know, the past couple of years it's been the 3rd and 4th week of April that has been hot as it gets in the spring for our salmon fishing. So I'm going to stick with that again this year. That's my prediction. All right. Any other questions before we close off? Yep.
For your meat rigs, if you're doing them yourself,
yep.
What brand of trebles would you use?
Brand of treble. I don't really.
I still have a whack of owners, so
I think I'm on owners too. I bought a mass amount of them one time.
The torpedoes is a really good hook too. The VMC is pretty good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The owners are expensive. I think we have some here, but they're like,
they bulk?
It got them in bulk? I don't know.
No, we sell them in packs of 6.
Question here? Yep.
Your Downrigger release clips.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys ever played around with the leader length on that?
I do, yeah.
I saw there was some benefit to running them like 5-6 feet actually behind the ball.
Yeah, so for me it depends on what I'm pulling. Like spoons, I do like a longer lead. Not that long, but 3 feet for me. And what that does is it gives a bit more freedom. So I'll set the release quite tight, even for a spoon, on a Scotty release clip. So this is the Scotties with the longer lead. And then that way I see the rod really pounding, okay? And it's got a lot of movement because you have that longer lead, right, on your release clip. Black's release doesn't have that, right? It's right on the cable, so there's no forgiveness there. But the relaxed release is really good on, let's say, flashers, because you're really talking about a bite that's happening down there that is pretty solid, right? And it come off. You're not really reading a rod, let's say, for an example. So yeah, I use that. Walleye fishing, I use a long one as well, and set to the lighter setting. sometimes not as quite as deep in the release clip as well, and they'll
You'll
come off
also,
real easy.
the advantage of these too, and the longer lead is you'll see those shakers.
Yeah.
Right, you tighten your rod down, whereas the blacks, that's, especially if you're fishing your blacks deep, you could be dragging something, you usually don't see it. You gotta check them a lot more regularly with the blacks.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Hooks were mentioned, always trebles, or do you ever use sidewash?
Tournament tie for flies, I'll run a sidewash as well as, or beak hook as well as the treble. But yeah, trebles otherwise. And spoons, I think is what you're alluding to, is changing the treble out for a sidewash. I do not. It's all trebles. I leave them stock. Until they get bent up and they're broken, that's when they get replaced. But with another treble.
On your flies, have you had your trebles being pulled off?
Yep. Same thing.
Pulled
It's
off or broken off?
broken off.
Pulled off. They just come unraveled then. I've had that.
On the stock one?
Yeah.
Not-
I crazy glue them now.
Hmm. Yeah, I've not had that. It's usually a clean
Yeah.
break.
I tie most of my own.
You see it gets all shriveled. eh?
Yeah. Usually, so if you tie your own, the small beads in between in this case, the beak hook and the treble, usually 3 or 2, it depends on the size of your beads, will protect that section of the line as well. That's why you often see your pre-rigged fly setups like that with those
Yeah, I
little
put the
beads.
surgical tubing on that and,
Yep.
and on the front of the sidewalk show.
Yeah, that'll work too as well. Yeah. All right, well, this was an excellent talk. Very good, very well interaction between all of you. I want to especially say thanks to Darryl for joining me today and joining in the conversation. I think we've gained a lot from his expertise, years of knowledge. Few things I wanted to mention about the up and coming events. The Spring Salmon Derby for the St. Catharines Game and Fish starts April 6th, runs for 9 weeks to June the 1st. Every 3 weeks is a new winner. We have 3 mini derbies within the one derby. So some really good prizes there. Also with the St. Catharines Game and Fish, we have the Members Challenge, which goes throughout the season from April 6th, the start of the Spring Derby, all the way to the end of September. So become a member and you can get involved with that. In the 5x5, it used to be during the summer, is now during the spring, from April 20th to May 25th. That's 5 weeks and 5 salmon. So it pretty interesting. You can pick and choose, but you gotta pick. When you put a fish on the scale, that claimed as one of your fish, you can't upgrade. So you gotta make your choices, right? And 3x3 is on the long weekend. That's a fun event. 3 days, 3 salmon, again, picking and choosing which one. And the Straight Line Anglers is also holding, so if you haven't joined the Straight Line Anglers, April the 20th is our Ken Fisher Memorial out of Port Dalhousie, and it's a combination of salmon and trout. So that should be a whole lot of fun too as well. Again, I want to say thank you to all of you for coming tonight, and I thought this was a great talk, and if you have any further questions, certainly come by, chat with us in the next little while. We'll be hanging around. Tills will still be open if you want to do a little bit more shopping, and then enjoy your season, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Be safe.